What's up, YouTube? So with the announcement of Terry, we finally have some unique footage of the character in gameplay, and you've already seen Maximilian and the Justin Wongs and everybody else, all those other much bigger and much more successful YouTubers with much more reach, having early access to the character. So you've already seen and done all that. I got nothing more to add. Little old Brian F here is just going to wait for Terry to hit the streets with the rest of you guys to try him out. But with the release of more additional Terry content for Street Fighter 6, we had a very important, perhaps revolutionary announcement from Capcom. The greatest feature to ever be added to a fighting game for the very first time ever, except for when it was done in the re-release of Guilty Gear Plus R, and when it was done again in Tekken 8. But you know, Street Fighter 6 is getting it now. They're getting it now. They're catching up. Street Fighter 6 already had probably one of the best training modes of all time, and I think now with this feature, they've achieved almost every wishlist feature that I have had. We have officially Replay Takeover, they call it Replay Review, being added to Street Fighter 6 with the release of Terry. Take control of either yourself or your opponent in a replay to see how you could have done things differently in specific moments. Supports both local and online replays, coming with the Terry update on September 24th. So how do they actually demo this feature? I was really impressed with this demo actually. So they load up a replay here, and in this specific moment, what they do is they play out the scenario how it went down originally and how they got cooked in the mix, right? So this time they play back this scenario, and then they go to switch to player control, and they take control of player one here, the Ken here. And now that they're in the mix with the bomb down from Kimberly, they're able to take control of the situation and practice different defensive options. So now that the mix is happening, they can figure out the optimal way to respond to such a mix. So Kimberly throws the bomb down and is going for the overhead. What could I have done defensively? So it shows off a few options like drive reversal, wake up level one. Oh, level one trades there, so maybe that's not ideal. What else can the Ken player here do? Level 3. So level 1 trades with the bomb, but level 3, if you commit to that in that situation, will actually get through with the cinematic and avoid the bomb. So I actually really like this example. I think this was actually a really well done social media post right here to actually show off how to use this feature. And some people like to meme about this. They go, oh yeah, the replay takeover is basically showing me that I have to guess better. But when you take offensive or defensive risks in this game, it's all about optimizing. Like imagine a scenario right there where you wake up with a level 1, thinking you're going to be able to spend 1 bar and avoid any kind of offensive pressure and super through and get out of the situation just to eat the bomb, knock it out of the corner, and potentially even die if you don't have enough life to survive that, right? So it helps you establish your counterplay and lets you have really accurate risk-reward analysis, so you know exactly what counters you want to pull, even if it's still a guess that the Kimberly in this example is going to actually go for an overhead or an offensive move. Your guesses are now going to be backed by more accurate analysis and understanding of the options available to you. So I really appreciate this example that they cooked up here with the social media team. They also have another one here. Use this feature to try out different ways of tackling your matches to find a solution that fits your playstyle. Parry drive reversal on this one. Parry out of it. And I think what they're actually trying to test here, perfect parry. Yeah, parry into throw. So that's important to know, right? Because if you perfect parry in the situation otherwise, and you try to start a combo, the bomb is still there threatening you. So you have to know exactly what your counterplay would be. So you're still stuck guessing these situations, but you're now guessing with complete information, with complete analysis of the situation, so you understand better risk reward. But aside from just these sorts of straight punish scenarios, there's a lot of other things you can use this feature for. I think a big one for me is optimizing combo conversions with both damage and meter. And there's been so many times where I always wonder, like, could I have killed in this scenario? Could I have potentially built in a bar in this scenario? And so what I often do is I'll literally watch a match, I'll go to training mode, and I'll recreate every single hit that happened in the match. Random counter hit, random punish counter, combo conversion with the scaling, chip if in burnout. I'll recreate painstakingly with save states over and over every single interaction to get the exact amount of life to recreate that in a match. And then I'll test different options. Like I've done that so many times for so many different videos and for analyzing certain things. Now I can just boot up the replay and take over from that exact moment without any sort of variance or like, it's really painful when you're trying to recreate those scenarios and you accidentally make a mistake and save it. Then you have to start all the way over. I'm telling you, it takes a lot of time. That's dedication holy. You guys haven't done that before? If you see random clips from me, like doing combos that optimize and kill, odds are I did exactly that. I've done that plenty of times. So it's huge for those kind of things. And also another one is like meter awareness, to understand if you're able to build enough meter in a certain moment or to alter your combo routes to build meter. Like as you're doing conversions, you build resources during them, and sometimes you can sacrifice damage for meter building. So this kind of a replay takeover can also really help you develop that awareness for both damage optimization and for meter building. If I am ever in a situation where like, oh, I don't know if I was going to kill at the level 3 or if I was going to build the meter, I can just go to the replay takeover and try out the combo conversion and try out different techniques and then see what I can do and optimize that conversion more. So I think it's just going to it's going to help you iterate much more quickly on your own optimization in many ways. So beyond just matchups, just optimizing your own offensive conversions, I think it's going to help a ton to have this feature so that you can help better recognize meter awareness and damage awareness in real matches. But other than that, I also think it's going to help with a few key things. So let me boot up training mode and show a few examples and show a few characters that I think are done after this update. So the number one character that's cooked after this update is Honda, for sure. Honda, he's not the beast he used to be, but he still has a lot of shenanigans. Like the fact that he can do things like headbutt, and then people often let him get away with pressing a button after. So I don't think this is the perfect example here. Probably have to do like heavy headbutt. So if you're ever in this situation, sometimes Honda players can set up headbutt spacing traps, where they essentially space out the pressure, where you can get counter hit or at least get caught in this vortex of headbutts coming your way. So this isn't the perfect spacing trap, but little shenanigans like that are going to be so easy to now go into replay takeover for you to analyze and just practice the punishes. And also, of course, things like just butt slam pressure and spacing traps that Honda sets up. So now you don't have to know how to perform any of these moves. You just simply go into the replay takeover, and then you can avoid dealing with any kind of shenanigans. And I think this now means that you have no excuse for losing to these characters. Not that you had any anymore. So even this is already hard for me to deal with. But I know that I can do, in this kind of situation, jump air to air medium. Or maybe I can do a delayed DP. Yeah, it's hard to get my crosscut here. So it allowed me to recreate situations where I'm getting hit by a bunch of cheese, especially with a character like Honda, and quickly iterate on my punishes in real match scenarios. Because it's easy to stop things like butt slam and headbutt in a controlled environment like training mode where it's doing a recording. But in the heat of a match, the way they alter their spacing and setups, it's really important to know how to deal with these things. Another character that might be a little bit more cooked is going to be characters like Blanca here with his level 2. So it's not necessarily just Blanca, but it's any of these really complex technical set play characters, including JP. A big problem with dealing with these characters is that when they do things like they throw down Blanca-chan, or they set up a really complex portal setup with JP, for example, and they start doing all these shenanigans and all these setups, you practically have to learn the entire character to understand how any of these mix-ups work in order to recreate them yourself to study in training mode. So essentially, no one ends up studying these setups, right? Like when you get hit by a Blanca mix, you tend to just write it off like, oh, I shouldn't have been in that situation in the first place, or maybe I should have held parry, shouldn't have been in burnout to avoid it, which is kind of true, but you'll actually be able to lab and try to recognize these setups in the future to potentially find real true punishes or counterplay to mitigate the situation. So this is always a huge pain when trying to recreate things in training mode, because we did have great features like doing recording the states and doing recording options with the dummy save states like that, so that you could sort of recreate it, but it demanded a lot. Even for high level players, I'm telling you, there's plenty of things that I did not know how to recreate in training mode, because it would practically require you to master the character you're fighting against in order to recreate it. Now you can just boot up and take over a replay and quickly figure out at least something to do in that situation, or what your best defensive option could be. And so I think it's really a big thing to have. So basically, we no longer have any excuses. So if you're getting cheesed out, if you're losing to someone spamming a move that you're unfamiliar how to punish, if you're getting hit by some setups that you're not familiar with, both you and I have no excuse. We can now go to the replay takeover and grind our matchups and grind our punishes. So I think this is a really important feature. I plan to use it as much as possible so that I can quickly level up. And I think you guys should be using it as well. Let me know what you think about the replay takeover, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.